Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you guys how to make some delicious apple empanadas. In case you guys want to know how to make this super easy and delicious recipe, just stay tuned and I'll show you how. Alrighty guys, so let's get started with our ingredients. So for this recipe we're going to need 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 sticks of salted butter at room temperature, 1 can of media crema, 3 Granny Smith apples, 3 sweet apples of your choice, white sugar, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, Trubinado cane sugar, half of a lemon, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a pinch of salt. So these are ingredients. Now let's get started. Alright guys, so first we're going to start by peeling our apples. So I'm just going to use my potato peeler and just peel the apple. Just make sure that your apples are nice and firm. Okay, so next we're going to cut our apples. We're going to cut it both ends and then the sides. So just cut around your apple. So just cut them 1/4 inch thick. So once you have your apples nice and sliced, we're going to throw them into a Dutch oven. And just repeat the process to all of your apples. Alright guys, so once we have our apples all nice and sliced, now we're going to add half a cup of white sugar, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, our 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a pinch of salt. And we're also going to add some lemon zest. Okay. So once you have that in there, now we're just going to mix it all together. Of course, just make sure that your hands are nice and clean. Smells good already. Now we're just going to cover it and we're going to set it on our stove. Alright, so now we're going to set it on medium heat and we're going to let that cook for 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure that you're stirring while it cooks. Alright, so after a couple minutes, give it a quick mix. So just cover them and repeat the process until our apples are almost soft. Alright guys, so it's been 12 minutes and at this point my apples are done. You don't want to overcook your apples just because they're still going to cook in the oven. I have an apple, poke it, they're soft. So now they're good. So now we're just going to transfer. All right, so now we're going to transfer our apples to a baking sheet. All right, so we're just going to put them in the baking sheet and we're just going to wait for them to cool down. All right guys, so while we wait for our apples to finish cooling down, we're going to begin to work on our dough. So in a large glass bowl, I'm going to transfer my 3 cups of flour. And to that, I'm going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. You don't want to add too much sugar to your dough just because we're going to use a lot of butter. And if you add a lot of sugar, it's going to be very difficult for us to roll it. And plus, our filling is going to be very sweet, so you don't worry about adding too much sugar to this. All right, so after that, we're just going to give it a quick mix. And now we're going to add our butter. So I just cut them into big cubes like that. All your butter. And now we're just going to break our butter down with our flour. So just break it down. Make sure that your hands are fully clean. Alright, so once our flour feels like wet sand, now we're going to pour our media crema. And if you can find this crema, you can add 1 cup of evaporated milk or regular milk or water. So just slowly begin to pour it and just mix it with your flour. And so now just mix them all together until you have your dough nicely mixed together. So just knead your dough for 3 minutes. Alright, so after 3 minutes, our dough should look like this. So now I'm just going to cut it in half. Form it into a pretty ball. And I'm going to wrap them into plastic wrap. Okay, so once we have our dough nice and wrapped, now we're going to stick it in the refrigerator just while we wait for our apples to finish cooling down. Alright guys, so after 30 minutes, your apples should have been completely cooled down. So now we're just going to squeeze out about 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. So just mix it. All right, so now we're going to strain our apples from our apple juice. All right, so while apples strain, we're going to work on our dough. All right, so we're going to get one of our balls of dough out, and we're also going to prepare our baking sheet where we're going to be baking our empanadas. And you also want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. All right, so we're going to grab a little bit of flour and we're going to dust it on our clean countertop. So get your dough out of the plastic. Okay, so place it, and we're going to begin to roll. And you also want to flour your rolling pin, and then begin to roll. You just want your dough to be even, and the thickness of your empanada is going to depend on how thick you roll out your dough. Obviously, you don't want it to be as thin as a tortilla, but you do want it to be thin. All right, so now I'm going to grab my large circle cookie cutter, and I just dust it with flour. And of course, it depends on how big you make your empanadas, and it depends on how many empanadas you're going to get out of the dough. So for me, with this dough right here, I will get about 6 large empanadas. So begin to cut it. Okay, it's okay. We're going to grab it and re-roll it. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my empanada. So I'm going to get my apple filling and place it on my empanada. Okay, so now we're going to grab our other side and close it like a taco. And now you're going to press down. Press down, and as you press, pull it outward. Just so like that, it could be like a crust, like a pie crust. And then we're going to go back to the top and fold it and press. So fold it, press. Okay, so now we're going to grab our empanada and place it on our baking sheet. We're just going to repeat the process to the rest of our empanada dough. Re-roll this dough and do the same cut. All right, so once our empanadas are ready, now we're going to make 3 slits on each side. Okay, now we're going to grab the juice from our apple juice, and we're going to lightly glaze our empanada and then add some of the sugar. Top it with some sugar. All right, so now we're going to bake our empanadas for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. Alright guys, so while we wait for our empanadas to finish baking, we're going to work on the rest of our empanadas. Just make sure that you place them in the refrigerator while we wait. Alright guys, so after 20 minutes, our empanadas are done, and this is what you want them to look like. So now we're just going to allow them to cool down. Meanwhile, we're going to put in the second batch. And just repeat the process. Alright guys, so once our empanadas have cooled down, now we are ready to enjoy them. Alright guys, so now we are ready to enjoy our delicious empanadas. And me and my family like to enjoy them while they're warm. So I like to cut them in half like that. And look at that. The crust is super flaky, soft, just super delicious. So I'm going to grab my plate, place my empanada on top, just like that. Alright, so this is the apple syrup that we got from when we strained our apples. So I like to stir it real quick and then drizzle it on top of my empanada. And just like that, now we are ready to enjoy our delicious apple empanada. Alrighty guys, and now for the best part, the taste test. I'm so ready. Seriously, they're super delicious. They're not too sweet. To me, they're just perfect. And the crust is what makes it, or the dough, you know, the empanada dough, makes it so delicious. Seriously, hope you give it a try. Alrighty guys, and there you have it, how to make some delicious apple empanadas. I hope you guys did enjoy watching this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and if you recreate this recipe, please don't forget to tag me on any of my social medias. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button so you guys can be part of our family. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.